Here's Bane cutting free in front of Becky. He scores! Full count begins for Ramirez. This one is swung on and lifted to deep left center field. Jones is chasing and it is gone.
¿Qué pasó, mi gente? It's Mark Tip 25 otra vez. It's been a while since I've done one of these type of videos, you know, these rants. I usually do it on like the Mavericks games and other stuff, but today I kind of want to have it a little bit more focused on this topic of Rusty Buckets versus Scout with Bryan. On Twitter, there's this YouTuber named Rusty Buckets who I follow pretty much a lot because he's really good at what he does. And then there's this other guy named Scout with Bryan who was a scout in the NBA at one point, I believe, and then I guess he didn't pan out as well. And he also has a YouTube channel, and he also has a Patreon. But I kind of want to discuss the beef that they had. Not too much, though, because Rusty has already made a video on this whole thing. But I kind of want to set something down first. Rusty Buckets is a heck of a guy. Really good YouTuber. You should definitely go check out his channel after all of this. Check out that video specifically because he'll have more information on what went down. I have followed Rusty for quite a while because he always has good content. He always knows what he's talking about. Well, I shouldn't say always because and that's the good thing because he can admit when he's wrong. And that's a good quality to have. That's a wholesome human being. And you know, for that to be in a 20-year-old guy, that's pretty awesome. Like, I'm 27, and I know you don't think, oh, well, that's not that big of an age difference, but it is. That's a pretty huge age gap. And this guy is already doing a lot in the NBA YouTube community. I can't even say that. I mean, obviously because I was behind the ball on all of this, and I didn't really see much, you know, value in YouTube until recently. And it's not really because of any money. I just wanted to, you know, talk sports like these guys did. You know, if you watch my intro video, I talk about all the NBA YouTubers that I've, you know, watched and kind of get my ideas from. I mean, I don't, like, steal them because that's ridiculous. I wouldn't steal anything. But I tend to, like, talk about a lot of points that may have been said and give my own thoughts on the whole deal, you know? And it's so crazy to me that a guy his age is doing this. You know, he's my niece's age. And no, Rusty, you cannot have my niece's phone number or Twitter, okay? Don't be a thirsty fuck. But yeah, Rusty is an amazing YouTuber. And the whole beef with him and Scott with Bryan recently was due to the whole deal with Karl Malone. Now, Karl Malone, we all know, was an NBA player in the 90s. He played with Stockton on the Utah Jazz, was one of the best players of all time. But what very few people don't know, and that the NBA YouTube community is trying to bring to light, because the actual media will not do so, is that Karl Malone committed statutory rape to a 13-year-old girl before he got into the league. And that's very upsetting because he settled out of court and, you know, tried to dismiss them, and that's just bad. Like, the fact that he used his status and that the NBA tried to sweep this under the rug is upsetting. But then you have this guy, Scout with Bryan, take the defense of him. Now, we're going to look at a couple of tweets that I just found outright stupid and just utterly disturbing. I'm not going to do a lot of the tweets because you can, if you have Twitter, which I'm sure most of you do, you can look that up yourself. Or you can watch Rusty's video on the matter because he has a lot more to say about it than I do, since this was really his beef. But we'll look at that right now. Okay, so we see the tweet that started it all. It starts with Bryan saying, "All right, bro, how old are you? If you think the brain is fully formed at 20, I've got about 7 million instances of college kids being idiots to point to you. Sorry for what Karl did 40 years ago is still keeping you up at night. Bye." This was in response to another person talking about the whole instance with Karl Malone, and he was arguing with that other person. But then Rusty comes in and says, "I'm 20 years old, and I know not to rape 13-year-olds. You're a fucking clown, bye." As Scout with Bryan responds, "Think you're all high and mighty because you got some YouTube subs? You ain't shit, kid. I said what Karl did was deplorable and disgusting. Just said it's possible we don't know the whole exact story and that we don't need to drag his family daily for something he did 40 years ago." Tres cosas, fam. Three things. First of all, a 20-year-old should still know the fucking deal when it comes to pedophilia. They know it's wrong. You should know it's wrong by age 20. And this whole shit about being developed, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. That is a cop-out, a blatant excuse, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Also, this ridiculousness of we don't know the whole story. Oh my god. Eres un pinche pendejo, güey. You are fucking stupid. We know the story. She was fucking raped by a 20-year-old man. That's the fucking point. To say we don't know the whole story is stupid. There's court evidence, and there's proof. The child became a fucking NFL player, and Karl Malone kept claiming that it wasn't his, which is bullshit. Okay? There's proof. Okay? Don't sit here and lie. No seas mentiroso. Don't be a fucking liar, Bryan. We have evidence. There's evidence. Pero no tienes vergüenza. You have no shame. And that's the problem, Mr. Scout with Bryan. You're a pendejo. This man is a pedophile. He should have been in jail. And if you want to know the full situation on that, watch Rusty's video on Karl Malone. It details everything. This girl was 13 years old. He impregnated her. Fucking took it to court. But he didn't go to jail because he was told to pay for the child just to keep him out of jail. So in essence, he got bailed out by the courts, and I'm betting you the NBA, because they had a lot to gain from this. And that's bullshit, man. That's utter bullshit. It's chifle. And pedophilia no es un equivocación, no es un error. Fucking pedophilia is fucking sick, okay? And for you to have excused that is wrong. And, oh, we shouldn't bring his family into something he did 40 years ago. Fuck you. Chinga su pinche madre. He fucking committed statutory rape. That man is a piece of shit. If I knew my father was like that, I would want to know, because I would distance myself the fuck away from him. Because I don't need that in my life. Okay? They should know. They should know. You know, you have to pay for your misdeeds. It's not a mistake. And that's the problem. You said it's a mistake? Fuck you. It is not a mistake. And you even said, oh, it's gross. It's freaking, deplorable and disgusting. Yeah, and you should have left it at that. Because when you say it's gross and disgusting, but no, there is no but. It's pedophilia. It's wrong. Moving on. And then este pinche pendejo, this idiot, goes on to say, yeah, because maybe be capable of having a little compassion and realize that the only people seeing people talk daily about what a piece of shit scumbag Karl Malone is are his family and not Karl. And maybe it's also possible people can grow and don't need to be defined solely by the worst moment of their life. ¿Sabes qué, Scout with pendejo? Get off your Buddhist bullshit, okay? Like, really, dude? Compassion for what? Compassion for, again, a pedophile? We're gonna fucking have compassion for a pedophile? And don't you say, oh, have compassion for the family. Dude, get off the family, dude. As a matter of fact, they should know this shit. And they should have already distance themselves away from Karl Malone if they knew what was good for them. They would have already distanced themselves. Because that's ridiculous, man. Like, in the fact, like, why would you even live with that person after that? Come on. Let's be real here. There's no reason to even live with that fucker after that. So, he's a piece of shit scumbag. You know, as you fucking so put here. But you know what? Yes, if their worst moment of their life is fucking being a pedophile, yes, that person should be defined by that, but he didn't. He escaped that because of what the league was going to make with him in the league. And that's bullshit. There's a reason why the fucking Me Too movement exists. Because of shit like this, because nobody would have believed that girl. And that's what sucks, because he used his status to sweep this all under the rug. And nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it for many years until NBA YouTubers started looking for this shit. And the media is very much to blame. And that's very sad. And you know, like, people don't need to be defined by their worst moment of their life. You know what? How about I give you a fucking example about growth and shit. My father was a fucking alcoholic, okay? For many years. But you know what? You can grow from being an alcoholic to a better person. Pedophilia, on the other hand, you cannot. Period. Pedophilia is inexcusable. The fact that you keep persisting on arguing with people on this platform is ridiculous. Like, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove here, Bryan? Like, you were already wrong when you tried to argue with somebody about the mental capacity of a 20-year-old. Really, that's funny. How about the mental capacity of a fucking 13-year-old? What about the fucking victim again? What about the victim? You talk about Karl Malone's other family. What about the fucking victim, dude? What about the victim? You continue to look at the wrong things exactly. There should be zero compassion. Nada for this man. And you know, like, it's upsetting to me that you tried to minimize what he did. You think you were trying to give something poignant, but you weren't. You were trying to minimize what he did. And that's fucking disgusting. That's the disgusting thing. Okay? Like, this makes me extremely angry talking about it. Like, do you not understand what you're even saying, man? Like, there is no way that you can grow from this. Pedophilia is not. It's not like anything else, man. It is horrible. Like, this is the hill you chose to die upon? Like, you already had problems as a scout. That didn't pan out. You have a YouTube channel. You have a Patreon of such and all that shit. But you don't really do much with it. But yet you have the nerve to fucking talk shit about Rusty Buckets, who has been doing nothing but a service to our community. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like, you're fucked. You're really fucked. But I don't know, man. Like, I just there's no justification for what you said at all. None. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know, I'll leave the link to Rusty's video on Karl Malone and his tiff with this fucker in the description. And yeah, that's really all I have to say on this whole matter. Suscríbete a mi canal y hasta la próxima, mi gente. Paz.